All right, June 1st. As you can see, I'm wearing a colored shirt for once. And the reason is my Zoom interview to be on that TV show was today. And they said to wear a colorful, bright shirt. And as you can see, I tried to make my hair nice. My light's kind of yellow, but so I dyed it gold and then I sprayed it with silver. So it's gold and silver hair. And anyways, that's that. So the things that they asked about was based. I actually wrote this really long 2-page list of things to talk about because it was only 5 questions that they asked, and but to answer each one of them, I could talk for like 20 minutes to answer one of those questions. And yeah, of my whole list of things that I could have said, I probably only said maybe 1/3 of it, because every time I tried to explain the whole thing, the person was always like, okay, cut it down to 30 seconds. And it makes sense because they're gonna try and edit this one and a half hour interview down to like 3 minutes or whatever to send to the producers. So makes sense. But a lot of the things that will be, if it gets on TV, a lot of things that get said or things that came directly out of my mouth are edited so small that there's no context to the whole thing. Like one thing that she was really adamant about me saying was that I'm the Elon Musk of restaurants. And yeah, I'm not the Elon Musk of restaurants. I do think the same way as he does, though, in terms of thinking about everything from a first principles perspective, which is you think about things at the really bottom core of it, which is like not blindly accepting what other people say. Like I was saying in the interview, normally you just say yes chef and you do it, and that's fine. But for the sake of learning and getting better, the chef should also explain why you're doing what you're doing. Like you don't want to develop too much gluten, or you don't want the heat in your hands to go into the thing, or whatever it is. So I think it's very important to, as a person learning, question everything. And like some people will say like, oh, you're talking back or all that kind of stuff if you say like, why are we doing this? But if you're asking from the genuine standpoint of trying to learn, what the chef shouldn't really say anything about it. If anything, may just say like, obviously don't do it in the middle of service. In that sense, you just say yes chef or whatever. But if it's like during prep and it's not a stressful time, then you can actually ask like, why are we doing it this way? And that's kind of that's another thing. You'll see that I say directly that I'm very cocky and all that, and you'll if it makes it on TV, you'll probably hear that. But it didn't. I go on into explaining that the reason I'm confident in the things that, in what I believe, is because I think of everything from the bottom up. And it's not like once I made my mind up on something, that's my fundamental truth forever. It's like like an onion. I've thought about onions, cutting onions for at least like 50 hours, not exaggerating, like not 50 hours at one time, but maybe like 20 minutes here and there for like 100 times or something. Because I was always trying to think like, why do chefs cut it? There's so many ways to cut an onion. Like most people cut in half first, so that's kind of normal. But you cut it in half. There's some people who only do the vertical lines. There's some people who go this way. There's some people who do it this way. And yeah, it's just understanding the shape of the onion and all that. Like, it's not, cooking is not, it's pork or it's beef. It kind of is, and you can learn that way. But I think it's more important to learn about like carbohydrates, fibers, sugars, how heat works, what type of heat it's basically science. But I think that's more important, because if you can understand the science side of cooking, you can apply it to you can apply your current knowledge to other things that you've never worked with before, just by picking it up, touching it, squeezing it, smelling it, that kind of stuff. And you could do it that way if you were just a fundamentally good cook and you didn't really understand the science. But I think by doing the first one, just knowing how to cook by intuition, is pretty standard. If you work long enough, you should get that. But then the deeper understanding lets you look at things from multiple perspectives. And yeah, like the thing is, question things the first time, and then another thing is always question yourself on what you believe, because it's kind of like, is what I think true? And then when you get other people's opinions on the same thing and it's different from what you believe is true, you don't just say, no, I'm right, or oh yes, they're right for sure. It should never be I'm right or they're right 100%. It should kind of be like, okay, take a step back, unbiased opinion. What is their opinion and what is my opinion, and what's their reason? What's the reasoning behind that? So like being unbiased in like I'm right or he's right or whatever it is very important to growing your personal thesis on every aspect of cooking and life in general. Yeah. There's some things that I believe the same thing to be true for an extended period of time, couple years, and that's with what I said of like constantly reevaluating it. Like, is this true? Is this true? Is this not true? What does this person have to say? What does that person have to say? All these different people, and there, even after a couple years, there still are some things that I used to believe that I have shifted, because every minute that goes by, you get a little older, and you should get a little smarter, because it's not even a direct correlation between cooking means you have to cook to become a better cook. That's not true, because if you become a better, let's say, gymnast, you get better with your hands and your feet and whatever, by default you're going to get better at cooking because you're better at that. Because it's like, I've seen people who have cooked for a long time, but they're very physically awkward, and you can tell because like they don't go to the gym, and they don't have a lot of spatial awareness and that type of stuff. So there's a lot of cross-pollination on skills and techniques into a kitchen. It's like how you physically move, how you think about things, how you multitask. So you don't have to cook to become a better cook. You just have to become a better, stronger, smarter, whatever person, and you can apply it to all kinds of different things, because it goes the other way too. If you become a really good cook and you understand how to think about things and how to problem solve and all of that stuff and handle stress, you can apply it to a different career, and you should be able to do very well in it, because cooking takes a lot of different techniques and skills that are adaptable across a lot of industries. 10 minutes.